So today, this session was about the financial statements, and this will be session one of many. And so, first, we're going to use the driver principle to learn about it, as our assignment was to explore one of these, and I chose Walmart. So we go here, and so first we need to define and discover. And so I'm assuming that the assignment is to gain a deeper understanding of behind the scenes, so like the numbers and such. And then I actually wanted to understand the financial statements that I was looking at. And then obviously we want to see if Walmart's improving or getting worse financially over the years. And then just for my personal reason, as like a thing to dive deeper into, it's if the stock is worth investing in. And so first we go to represent. So we were advised to sketch it out like anything that we would want to do. So that's why I kind of made this whole sheet. And so I looked up the financials of Walmart. You can see here income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, any of that stuff. It's all on here. And so I made this little chart with the last 12 months, 2023 and 2022. And then these profit margins were found later. But first, we found the data from Yahoo. We plugged it into Excel, which I'll show you in a second. We had the AI create the code. We plugged in the numbers from that Excel sheet into our collab, which I'll get to. And then we repeated it for the years prior to that, 23 and 22. So first, we went into this Yahoo and we looked up all of these. And then as we were doing that, we kind of showed that. And then in Excel, I hope it's still showing, but it has our operating cash flow, our balance sheet, and our income statements, which I'm going to screenshot just in case real quick, in case you can't see it. But for example, no, not that. For example, this is what our cash flow kind of looked like. Insert. It's just a bunch of tables that are similar to that. So I'm assuming you could see it. If not, then this is what I was working with, as well as the cash flow and the income statement and the balance sheet. So I had all three of those with, which they're basically just this table, these balance sheets, cash flow, stuff like that. So these show them all. Anyway, once we had that, we went into Gemini, and I just asked, hey, Gemini, can you please, help me with these financial statements and then give me like a calculation. So my prompt was this, the keep it simple, stupid reasoning that we do in class. And so I found return on investment, return on equity, profit margin, current ratio, and earnings per share. So just to go over these real quick to show our understanding, we have the net income divided by the total assets as return on investment. And then for return on equity, we have the net income divided by total equity. The profit margin is net income divided by revenue. The current ratio is the current assets divided by the current liabilities. And the earnings per share are the net income divided by shares outstanding. So now that we identified all those, we had it run us a code for that, but I also wanted to understand them better. So it has these explanations here and what it measures. So, like, for example, ROI is how much you made or lost on your investments, and then so on. So, that is how I personally like to learn it. I like to learn it as I go, so that was very helpful. And so then we get into this calculator, and it gives you all of this, which it tells you what it's doing while it's doing it. And then you plug in these numbers. So this was my 2022 numbers. So just to show you how it changes if you run it, let's say you change this to 200 million, and you go down here, you run the code, you can see it changes. All these numbers change, which is what we're looking at. So after running that code right there, and I need to explain it also, but it shows you step by step. So your return on investment, it shows you the formula going into it. Net profit divided by cost of investment times 100. So this Gemini really gives you a nice script for Python because it shows you what it's doing before it's doing it. And that goes down to there. And then I was pulling these numbers highlighted right there, pulling those from this Walmart or from this Yahoo Finance sheet, but I also have it on an Excel sheet. I just am not sure if my computer worked to do that because it looked like it was bugging out. But so then we get stuff like this. So the last 12 months, the return on investment is negative 129%, return on equity 29.67, profit margin 5.57, current ratio 1.6, earnings per share 361. So as you can see, if we look at this 2022 one, the return on investment is negative 431, which I'm sketchy on these ROIs, but I don't know if I was misinputting or it was the AI, but I checked with Yahoo Finance and my numbers all looked right. So I figured that it was plausible that it could be the code, but I'm not sure. That's why I'll get more into it in the Evolve. But 2022 seems to be better than 2023 based off profit margin, if that's what we're wanting to look at. And then the last 12 months has a 5.57 profit margin. So right now they're doing good. There's really nothing like noticeably bad about it. All of these margins are fine besides the ROI, but I'm skeptical to believe that that's what it is. So now the validate, when you're comparing the ratios with the results, I used Yahoo Finance, so I mean that's a trusted website. That's what you told us to use. So I trust the numbers, but maybe it's the code. So I'm thinking that the ROI looks sketchy. So then Evolve, it makes it an investing question in my opinion, looking at all these financial sheets. So what I did was I asked Gemini to create me a Python code that would give me an investment score, and it pulled, what I found interesting is it pulled numbers off the internet. So this gives it a 60 out of 100, which is like okay, I guess. It's saying that the return on equity is good, so I would say that I would probably hold off until that score gets a little bit higher, but it's up to whoever's making the decision. But I would advise against it right now to invest just because the 60 out of 100 seems pretty low. And then reflecting on all of this is way harder than I thought. This assignment took me 4+ hours, so it's not necessarily the most simple assignment I've ever had, but it was kind of interesting. And then if I could change anything, I'd outline it a little bit better. And I was surprised that it was kind of hard to translate that Yahoo Finance stuff into Excel. It took a while to move all of this stuff over. And then finally, my aha moment was finding where to put the inputs into Collab because I was lacking reading the code at first, but once I started reading it, I figured out where exactly to put it. So overall, I think that this assignment didn't help me as much as I wanted it to with learning the concepts of financial management and like the sheets and stuff. I think my accounting classes and other classes I've taken before have helped me more than this, but I'm still getting used to it and there's still room to grow. So I'm going to have a positive mindset going into the next one. So thank you.